now rain, things like you heard on the decks. Glover hold the court, give the chief no suspect. Politics in the mix, like double Stewart Rich. Spinning tales from Black Wall Street, real life's the pitch. Johnny Glover Show, be more news. 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 Business tips hotter than lava. Got that Midas touch. Stocks and blocks teaching youngins how to clutch. Ears to the concrete, finger on the pulse. Dropping wisdom like Homer, each word a joke. Johnny Glover Show, be more news. 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 Walls painted black, history on lock. Blast off from Tulsa, rebirth like a clock. Markets rising from ashes to gains. Donnie the narrator, truth runs in veins. Johnny Glover Show, be more news. 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 Business tips hotter than lava. Got that Midas touch. Stocks and blocks teaching youngins how to clutch. Ears to the concrete, finger on the pulse. Dropping wisdom like Homer, each word a joke. Johnny Glover Show, be more news. 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 Walls painted black, history on lock. Blast off from Tulsa, rebirth like a clock. Markets rising from ashes to gains. Donnie the narrator, truth runs in veins. Johnny Glover Show, be more news. 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 Show, be more news. Be news.
You see, and people dispersed if you read Sheikh Antar Joe. Now, here's another example of this non-migratory around the equator. You have pyramids in Egypt. You have pyramids in West Africa. And you have pyramids in Central America. You have those great big thick-lipped, big-nosed megaliths in the Ivory Coast. And you have them in the Olmec civilization here. But did they cross the ocean? No, because Columbus discovered America. So, so when you read the explanation for the divine kingship in Central America, that is the same as in Egypt or Kemet, that is the same as we heard this morning in the Ivory Coast in West Africa. And Len Jeffries can tell you in the Ivory Coast, I believe it is, they found 100 of those megalith heads. This brother who put out the gold weights. Now, here we have all this evidence. I mean, irrefutable evidence. Pyramids here, pyramids here, pyramids here. Big stone heads here, big stone heads here, big stone heads here. All African. But is this a diffusion of culture? No, no. No, this is parallel development. We all thought of it at the same time. Rather than say Africans came across the ocean. Now, we sit around, I know most of you sit around and say, that's kind of sophisticated. It's not. They tell us so many lies. We say Africans invented civilization. I accept that. That's my first premise. And so when I see civilization, I look for the diffusion of an African reality. If you see the ancient god of Vietnamese, he's black. The ancient god of Hawaiians, he's black. The ancient god of the Indians, Vishnu, is black. The ancient god of Chinese, Buddha, is black. Are these Africans? No, European will tell you this is parallel development. And we sit around and accept this because he wants to develop his concept of white supremacy, and if he wasn't there first, then it didn't happen. Now, when we talk about Africana epistemology, we have to talk about if what we know is true. And how can we know whether what we know is true if we don't start from a basis of reality? If everything around the equatorial belt is black and black culture and tropical people, why? How can we possibly believe that they went all the way up through Siberia and then dispersed? You understand what I'm saying? What is the purpose? What is the purpose of such a stupid interpretation of the dissemination of humanity? That is how deep white supremacy goes. You understand what I'm saying? That's how deep it goes. Now, that's just one insight I got. And what it does for me, it's very easy for me to trace my African ancestry back to the origins of humanity, and equally easy for me to trace my Native American ancestry down to the equator and over again. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the last thing I want to say, because I always start with my husband, who is the half that makes me whole, the totality of my human reality, who helped me bring forth two African warriors. But we get to arguing about this whole concept of race because we talk about it. The myths about the Native Americans are so deep, and the myths about who we are as African Americans are so deep that many times we are afraid to investigate them. So let me just share this last insight from this book, The Only Land They Knew. The Only Land They Knew, and another book, Indian Givers. And The Only Land They Knew, they talk about after Columbus invaded and destroyed the people in Jamaica, in the West Indies, they had many fights in the 16th and 17th century in what is now North America. They always killed most of the men, and they shipped the women and the children to the West Indies. Some 60,000 or more in the 16th, 17th century. And the original Africans that they sent over from West Africa were disproportionately male. So from the very beginning of that interaction, there is an interconnection between the African and the Native American, from the very beginning. And why that worked was because those two worldviews, the ancient African worldview, the traditional African worldview, and the African and Native American worldview were very much the same. Very much the same, because they started from the same base. Now, people say, well, so did the European worldview start from the same base. But if you read Michael Bradley's The Iceman Inheritance, and if you read Sheikh Anta Diop, you will know that you cannot stay 100,000 years in a cave, in an ice age, and come out with a tropical mentality.
Boom. Mic drop. Like to welcome to the show, Mafia Shakur. My name's Donnie Glover. Got Horace on deck, Hannibal on deck.
Peace.
What do you think?
That was a powerful piece touching on race and the land masses. And
that's Dr. Charshi McIntyre.
Yeah, that's the first time I heard her, but not on those concepts that she was speaking on.
Can you relate? Yes, no, you with
Yeah,
it?
absolutely. Yeah, that was, that's like I always say, we come from global civilizations. It's just knowing your place in this civilization and where you stand to the degree of the knowledge of who you are, because everybody's story is unique and different to your own personal genealogy of who you are, who your family has been, and all of that plays a part as well.
So what do you
Everybody,
think of the show thus far, Mafia? And we give you an award on Thursday. Let's give you some love, brother.
that's much gratitude. I think the show is beautiful. It creates a platform for open discussion, to uncover truths or things that create tension or cause confusion, to uncover the truths or share thoughts and opinions and experiences, because we are telling the same story from different perspectives.
Man, how was your day?
Oh, pretty good, productive.
I see your boys in the background now. I don't know if they're coming in. Hannibal, Horace, where you at?
Yeah. Nah, it was powerful. It was
Hey,
a
what
great
up,
show
though?
as well.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing
You got
great.
to
How
pick
you
that
doing?
energy up, pal.
Yeah, I'm doing good. How you doing?
It's showtime.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What up, though, Mafia?
Nah, peace. How you feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I was just sitting back listening to everything.
Did you hear the monologue?
Yeah, I heard everything, and it was very interesting, and I agree with a lot of it too. I was talking to my cousins them earlier. I don't know about what happened in the past. You know what I'm saying? My concern is not really too much about that. I know what we've been called, and I accept that. But my point of view now is connecting the dots to my indigenous heritage now, and getting this online because the documentation is there. She made some excellent points. She made a point that about the warfare and the killing of the males and the amalgam. She was getting into the amalgamation of those who was brought from West Africa and the Native American women who was spared here. And I understand that point. That's why in a lot of our food ways that we eat cornbread and we eat the Three Sisters and stuff. I understand them things. So it was a deep dive what she was talking about. I've seen her before. I'm fairly kind of acquainted with her work.
Well, while you got the stage, you got a question here. Do you know any Kendrick or shepherds from Wetumpka or Santuck area?
Yeah, there was the
Grandmother
Kendrick.
migrated from Coosa County, Blackfoot.
Yeah, the Kendrick family is my family. The Tuck, along with the Tuck family, and our Blackfoot connection is the Saponi Indians out of North Carolina, Mona Suckapona. So I'm fairly familiar with that. And what Tom
What does that mean again?
That means people of the black feet. So I'm familiar. Wetumpka is not that far.
Hey, man, you know how to cuss in Indian?
No, I just know a couple words. I just, I did some study on like hit chitty and stuff like that.
What's the word?
Hit chitty. That's what the Muskogee, part of the Muskogee language groups. Hit chitty.
And what's that mean?
It was that was one of the tribes that was down there. It's like
I thought you was gonna teach me some cuss words, man. No better way to learn a language than with some cuss words.
Like what they call themselves. Right now, the Muskogee people call themselves Este Muskogee, or they got a Spanish part of saying the person. The Este is the Spanish thing, but the real term is Itza Muskogee from Chichen Itza or Omak people or the ancient Mayans. So when you say that you want to connect the ancient Mayans or the ancient seafarers that came over here, you're talking about the Muskogee Creek people. You're talking about us from down in Alabama, Wetumpka area, down there, Georgia, South Carolina. You get what I mean? So you down in Mexico, you had two big groups. You had three. You had the Aztecs, you had the Mayans, you had the Incas, and all them factions was at war with each other. So that's why you got a lot of the Aztec descendants on the west coast, and you got a lot of Mayan descendants on the east You get what I mean? Because they fled out of Mexico and broke them two ways when DeSoto was coming through. So it's a deep dive when you kind of know your history, like Hitchiti. It's a Muskogee Ligi, Miko no Kusi Chadi. That means I am a Muskogee person. I am Chief Red Bear. That's what that means.
Peace, brother. Peace.
Planet
Peace,
Wells,
peace.
what's the word, brother? What's happening in
Good,
Hawaii?
good. We got some rain, so that's what everybody was praying for. So that's real good. Yeah.
I got woke up this morning by two calls. Tahanga, Big Ma Baby, Art Official Pictures, Michelle Walker, Michael Randolph. Good evening to you. I was awakened this morning with two phone calls, and both of them were about Africa. Said Donald Trump talking about sliding up into Nigeria. And I'm wondering, does this have anything to do with our main man, Ibrahim Traore? Now, this is what I get the word from Nigeria today, that if the U.S. thinking about just walking up in there, better pay attention, because China ain't having it.
Yeah. I think
it's oil power, Bunyan, because Nigeria got a lot of oil, but it's also, I think, positioning on that west coast of Africa, because that's where Ibrahim Traore just recently put out the French, and other countries been putting out the French. And let's not forget, the U.S. led the way on the removal of Muammar Gaddafi.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like as people now, we got to be on different sets of planes. The world stage, the stage here. So many things going on in the world. You know, I see, like you was talking about China and their allies with Russia and all the things that's been going on with all these wars with the Ukraine and everything. And you know, everything got a connecting point, but I don't see the connecting point yet. You know. But I see what's happening with Ibrahim Traore over there in Africa.
I see the connecting points. The global South, which is Asia, Africa, South America, they are no longer tolerating European colonialism, and nation by nation, they standing up. Don't forget, Trump not only over there messing around in West Africa, he down there taking out Venezuelan drug boats, messing with the cartels.
Yep. You know what? I seen about a couple years ago, even with China invested so much money in Africa that they got empty cities in Africa, like big old apartments, buildings, everything. Like they gonna do a mass immigration there. It's not for the people that's there. It's like for them. You can look that up. It's like empty cities already built over there.
Yeah.
So we
The
better
other thing.
get on our horse here, and that includes stocking up on cans of tuna fish, sardines, and all them things you don't like to eat no more. Vienna sausages, because these people are messing around and gonna cause some stuff, man. I just don't have a lot of faith in Donald Trump or his way.
The other thing is
a sucker.
The other thing is not Nigeria is very heavy in rare earth minerals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even that
well,
reason. Go ahead.
I wanted to say that if we for one moment think that this government here in this particular part of the world gives a damn about us, then we're sadly mistaken, because there's nowhere in the world that they can care about us and then threaten to go kill our cousins.
Yeah.
In the name of Christianity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a world stage, though. That's why we setting out to put the identity and to move in the ways that we see to move, because the world is still following behind what we do as well, and how collective we come and stand against, anything that's overthrown what's already to be ours.
I'm starting to think that a lot of people are in the frame of mind that, hey, if you can't beat them, join them. Even at
Some,
the
sure.
even at the expense of cutting your brother's throat for them. That's how come history shows how we were infiltrated easily, because there were those who we thought, like I keep saying, like Judas and the Black Messiah. That cat had worked his way all the way up to the general of defense. And he was the one who put the powder in Fred Hampton's drink in order for him to lie there in a coma-like state while they were, letting hundreds of rounds go inside of that apartment, man. So there's no way in the world, man, that they can, man, be talking about going over there and killing our cousins on the continent, and then we over here think that, hey, man, they're gonna serve us up democracy on the platter.
Yeah, but look at how the play is unfolding. Look who's the head of the military, the face of the military. The face of the military is us. So when they look at the world, they say that the big man on the general of the United States is someone that look like us. You get what I mean?
I saw that. He was the first one to say something, against Ibrahim Traore.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It's like we playing on both sides of the field. It's like we stuck in the middle. It's like, like the flight, like we're on this man's side, but the world see us coming in. You get what I mean? As being the head of this military force.
Right.
It's a quagmire, they call.
But just imagine if we had brothers and sisters as loyal as those guys that surrounding Ibrahim Traore. Right. They tried to pay one of them $5 million, $50 million, or whatever to do some something to take that brother out. And he told them, no, man, I'm loyal to this brother, man. But just imagine, man, if we had that element, man. But for some strange reason, man, it seems almost like it's impossible to attain, man. There are too many agents. There are too many turncoats that have signed treaties, that have put poison in your drink. It's like, how can we actually win, man, except for on a small level, when there's always that element lurking, on the other side of the threshold.
Right, and that's, I think me and Mafia earlier today, we kind of hint on what you bring to light right now. It's kind of like seeing all the movements from the past and how these movements was, like you said, was infiltrated, but then at the same time, how these certain people was positioned in certain positions. But then now you got to have some type of fail safe, so some type of way to put it to where these things cannot happen. Like you said, you got Ibrahim Traore and his people that's behind him. You got to have these type of people behind us in these certain areas that we got here in this country, like the social services, the health, the finances, and things like that. Then can be the soldiers that we need. You get what I mean? So I think it's a deeper. It's gonna take some behind the scenes more talking amongst us like we normally do. You get what I mean? And get down to the point. But I feel you on the vibe of the infiltrators, because that's how we're in this position that we're in today collectively.
I got one more for you, gentlemen. Here you go. Thought I did.
As well as Pocasset Wampanoag as well. In my research in trying to reconnect with the heritage of my family, I had to go through a number of records. And what I found within my family on the Choctaw side is that we had a lot of names we considered at that time Christian names. We didn't realize what the importance of them were. When I came along in the Black movement and joined the Black movement, we had this move to to take on Pan-African names. And my great-grandmothers, both on both sides, on my mother's side and on my father's side, were very upset about it. And I said, well, you know, we're giving up these Christian names, this white man's name. We're not going to keep that stuff. You know, I'm changing all my children's names to this, that, and the other. They said, well, no, you can't do that. But they really could not clearly explain it to me until I got to this point here, 30 years later. I'm doing my genealogical research, and I realized those names were the names of ancestors that they had taken on. The reason they had taken on, and so to keep the memory of those ancestors, like Annie or Mariah or Glenn, they named children down the line those very same names, and that's how we were able to trace back who we actually were. The reason the names were changed is because I think what's missing here is the fact that, as opposed to the African slave, the Native Americans had bounties on their heads. We were cash cows for the settlers, for the invaders here. So hence the name Redskins. Those Redskins had bounty on those skins. So as a survival technique, we had to change our names.
Understood.
We had to blend in. Sure. And then came along the census takers who took us from Indian to Negro, and from Negro to mulatto, and now black and African American, to wipe out the very memory of us being here so that there's no claim to the land by our people.
Connect with us and learn how to trace Indigenous American ancestry. Learn the story of what makes you unique. Visit findiatribe.org.
That was powerful.
Yeah. That's the importance of knowing your relative.
Hey man, the movement is real. It's real, man. And it's real for a reason.
Yeah, that's the reason. Yeah.
Well,
and that's what Hannibal cover all the time, as far as in knowing your genealogy and tracing the names to know which area the tribes was in that carried these names, to know how to follow that tribe and the story. The more research you do on that tribe.
Right. He made a good point. Like you'll see, like the terms Negro and then mulatto, like especially like that 1920 census when Plecker did his thing, the southern states kind of fell in line. So you'll start seeing them changing the records, and you'll start seeing, especially if your ancestors own more than one property, they was recorded more than once. Like my great grandfather was recorded twice. One census said the letter B for black, the other one said mulatto. You get what I mean? So that's the thing though. So now I give you guys a gem. 1920, you're gonna find duplicate census records, especially in the South and Alabama. And someone in here said something about Elmore County. That comes from John Elmore or John Archer Elmore. That was one of the slave owners of our family, Reuben Jordan's uncle, who made Elmore County. And that Porch Banner Creek Indians that's down there is in that county, comes from that Elmore affiliation. Yeah. Can't hear you,
Donnie.
I don't know if you're looking at the chat, but one of the things that is being discussed is who we are, and whether we should be trying to fit in with the nature of this country. I remember saying to a young man, he's no longer with us, but he was an editor of a newspaper. I asked him, why do we keep trying to fit in with people who don't respect us anyway? Do y'all have an answer for that? Why do we keep trying to fit in with people who don't accept us no matter what we do? We can change our language. We can change how we communicate, how we relate, and be less, what's the word? Less,
Ebonic.
No, when they say black people aggressive, intimidating, that's not the word. Threatening. We look threatening. Mm-hmm. Why would we try to fit in with a society that views us as threatening. Like I say, when they pull that car over with the 5 of us in it, they not checking tribes. They have already concluded in their mind 5 blacks.
Well, I found it ironic how the average person in that particular august body has the testicular fortitude to call us threatening when we don't have a history of being violent to anyone other than ourselves, at least since the 60s. And if you noticed, these people go and get these uniforms with these guns because they have a vendetta with the law and the government behind them, and a history that says, hey, this is what we do to these Negroes or these Indians or whatever. But if anybody should be clutching their purses or afraid, it should be us.
I'm thinking about it in a different manner, because I don't think it's a lot of us trying to fit in. I think that even before these so-called Europeans came here, you had quote unquote so-called Negroes or Africans in their courts in their countries, like back in Britain. So you had like these Moorish type folks or people. So you always had this type of group. You always had this affiliation. I don't think they're fitting in. I think they're in the same type of family groups. When you talk about these Stewarts and you talk about these Knoxes and you talk about these royal bloodlines, quote unquote, from England coming over here. So it's deeper than just fitting in. You got a bourgeoisie class that the older ancestors used to call them. You know what I'm saying? I think that was the connection that we was missing. You know what I mean? It's like we were just talking about the face of the military. Is this a Moorish connection, or is this what we're talking about, like these sororities, these fraternities, all these types of things play a part.
Right. Well, did anybody see the Gladiator 2 with Denzel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the prime example of what we were dealing with. That
you
we thought
Denzel was a sellout in that movie.
Well, he wasn't just a sellout; he was a shyster. You know, he was a shyster and a manipulator and a killer, and that's the same type of people that we have been dealing with for the last 500 years. That put the white boy out as his crash dummy, and they go for the okie doke, and so everything is pointed in his direction. But then you got those Denzels behind the scene pulling the puppet strings.
So I put on the screen one of the coat of arms. A coat of arms is like an insignia. Every royal house had one. And all across Europe, the Moors had these type of insignias all across the land in just about every European country. You name the country, they were there. So I heard in last week's discussions a lot of talk about the European blacks who came here.
Yeah, because the Caucasoids didn't, because they couldn't handle us by themselves. You see what I'm saying? So they needed reinforcement, and so they came, with their military strategies and deceit. Diseases, poisonous foods, alcohol, guns, and what have you. And so that's how they defeated us. And then, of course, you had the boot licking, shuffling, scratching. That took a few gold coins, a few lees of wine, and say, hey man, I'll undercut those, to get a box of that wine right there, man. And that's what we're dealing with. They were cunning, man. But yeah, Denzel is the prime example of what we were dealing with when they first came here, and they have been here ever since. And we
Denzel's
haven't even
character.
noticed them.
Denzel's character in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's powerful when we're dealing with the Europeans, because we also dealing with the Russians that went to Alaska and, mixed with them tribes and things up there from New York, coming down from Alaska, New York, all the way down. All the waterways was under attack from, like how we say, the infiltrators. We already lived in society with these so-called infiltrators that lived in a society. They traded amongst us, had kids amongst the tribes as well to push the same thing. Slavery, all the misnaming, all this is all tied in together.
But you notice the Russians never participated in any of the colonizations against the melanated people.
It's a lot of my tribe up in, a lot of Creek Indians in the conversation now.
Yeah, the Russians never, tried to colonize us over here, or our cousins over there in Alkebalan.
I think we really have to look at Spain and their influence in the world of colonization, and what their mindset was. Because in other words, Spain being occupied by the Moors for all them hundreds of years, they had a relationship and a vendetta with them.
Right.
So, so I could see how that would be a real incentive for people to be more traitorous to support, the country that conquered them and kicked them out of Spain. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I find interesting as we talk about the Moors, Christopher Columbus stuck up Portugal and Spain. He conned them into thinking he was going to discover something when all he was doing was following the Moors
Right.
who had been coming over here. But mind you, the transatlantic slave trade started with Columbus's voyage. That pretty much kicked off the transatlantic slave trade.
Right.
But the purpose for them making us think damn near 13 million people came from Africa as if this land was barren,
Right.
and desolate, was a direct strategy to disconnect us from the land, because in all of the sciences, because man, if the only thing a person really have to do is dive deep into the science of what Noble Drew Ali brought forth, what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad brought forth, what Malachi York brought forth, and these were unorthodox teachings that these brothers had brought to us over here, and it was a return of the information that came from here in the first place for, I guess, those of us to really catch on to what was going on. Just like me and Donnie, me and Mafia had the conversation earlier. Why would Noble Drew Ali put the word ish at the end of more? He did that for a reason. More-ish. Not Moors, but more-ish. So he did that to let us know that, hey, it was the Moors that was doing what they was doing. But see, they classified all of the higher learning people with Moors, just like the Washita Moors, but the Mours. So we were navigators and astronomers, but everything that they had over there came from here first. And that's what nobody seems to be able to grasp. They keep on thinking Africa, Jerusalem, what else? Over there in Islamic countries, Arabia, and all of these things, where all of those are nothing but prototypes of what was going on over here 10 million years ago. But, we'll eventually come to that knowledge and understand that. And, yeah.
Well,
Let me just share this fact with you. Of the roughly 12.5 million Africans who were forcibly taken, trafficked, kidnapped, murdered, raped, taken from Atlanta, from across the Atlantic between the 1500s and the 1800s, historians estimate that only 4 to 6% came to the U.S. We're not taught that in school. They give us movies about roots and Kunta Kinte and Chicken George and Kizzy.
Yeah, but
Give us Alex Haley's Lies.
even in Roots, Kizzy's son had a Cherokee daughter. People didn't pay attention.
I was done after the first series. They went to that.
If you listen to the script of that was that her granddaughter was a Cherokee.
And not only that, in the beginning of the movie, I guess that baby was Kunta Kinte. I'm not sure, but remember they were holding the baby up to the moon and they were saying Allahu Akbar.
Right.
I think we're making sense of a past that we weren't a part of. And I think
let me ask you this. This is going on in the chat. Do y'all believe in the ancestry.com?
No.
As far as what?
I don't particularly know.
Do you trust their results?
I don't particularly know.
If you see, I got a genealogy group, and it's about 400 of us that study genealogy. And we know about chromosomes and stuff like that, about the raw data and about the cousin matches. I think people get things kind of twisted when they look at them ethnicity results. It's not about that. It's about your cousin matches and the raw data, your centromorgans that you match on certain people with and certain groups with. You know what I mean? So you could take this raw data and upload it to other sites. You know, they try to, this is how they capture people that do crimes and stuff, like serious crimes, like when they do like DNA swabs at crime scenes and stuff, your DNA, your saliva, your hair, your skin, all this stuff.
Do a DNA on the bottom of Buckingham Palace, all of the stuff they stole. Hannibal, you got Copper Engine, a regular viewer, posing a question to you.
I don't have any information on the family's last name. Arkansas from Mississippi or Henry, Mississippi. The only thing I know about like with Mississippi when it comes to like any native connections, that's gonna deal with the Choctaws and the Chickasaws over that way, and then you might have some of the Louisiana tribes coming through, and then like someone was mentioning the Osage out there in Oklahoma because Arkansas borders Oklahoma too. So like finding the records in Mississippi, I'm not for sure too much because my line ended right there in Oklahoma and in Alabama. So, but I just know you might find them records amongst the Chickasaws and the Choctaws. So I advise you to like to look at the roles that apply to them, not just the roles that are the ones that went to Oklahoma, but the ones who stayed behind in Mississippi. So like in Biloxi, it's tribes that stayed in Biloxi, like the Tupelo or the Tutelo people. That's down there.
Stella, thank you, Stella. You've always been so helpful. Whole genome sequencing and GED match.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Taking your raw data and you can upload it to GED match. So this GED match got no pictures. It's nothing but numbers. And it's number percentages. And
thank you, Stella.
So that's what Stella said a good point with GED match. So
you knew about this and you ain't sharing, man. Come on, man, give up the good.
There's a lot of stuff like that I know, but it's like it's like where people at in their point of view. A lot of people right now is arguing over where we come from. So if they really go into the genetics of it all, they'd really be baffled. You get what I mean? And seeing Oceania and seeing these Australian and all these types of groups coming in and mingling. So they'd really be confused about things.
You don't look Australian, buddy.
No, I was talking about the native Australian, the Aboriginal type people.
Yeah, but you definitely can get some great information from Ancestry as far as connecting.
I think it ain't Ancestry. So every 10 years it's a federal census, right? And when you take this federal census, 72 years later, them records become public. So that means anybody can take these census records and make up a database and become an ancestry type of company. You get what I mean?
Like 23andMe.
Yeah, just like them. You can become this company.
And they became what, billionaires?
Yeah, but the company, the records is real. These is your ancestors saying who was in the house, who lived at this time. It ain't them lying about nothing. You can actually look at the actual census takers records.
Right.
You know, you
So I got a
actually,
question for you, Hannibal. Since you did so much studying, did you learn anything about the personalities of any of your ancestors?
I knew that my people could read.
Huh?
I knew my people were I knew they can read. I knew they were business minded. I knew that they was cutting down trees and stuff like that. You get what I mean? I knew that they was they was entrepreneurs, they was enterprisers, they was traveling on trains. Some of them was leaving out of Alabama going to West Virginia and working in the mines in West Virginia. Some of them was on the trains to South Carolina and going out to LA. Some of my families, the first families from down there going out to LA. You know, early in the game, like the early 1900s, you know, like in the year 1900, I mean. So
Yeah, you know, it's important not to blindly believe what they tell you, right? Because you know, they have a thing called I think it's called 31 Atlas, right? Now they gonna tell you what that is and what that could be and this, that, and the other. But wait a minute. They also telling you that it comes from outside our solar system, and they gonna tell you what it is. Come on, man. So we have a habit of blindly believing just because it's got a certain framework that, and you know, and sanction that it's the truth. You have to question everything they tell you. Everything. That has to be your mantra. You know, so you know the work that Hannibal is doing, digging deep, and Mafia is doing, digging deep into the ancestry, is the key, because you can't rely on anything that you feel me, you just can't. I mean, it's not, it's just common sense, right? That if there's been 300 years or more of blatant deep lies, you know, you have to be very careful on who you send your DNA to. You got to know them people, because there's a lot of games and a lot of tricks out here. You know.
right. I think like right now it's enough of us that did the DNA test, and enough of us probably right now that studied the family origins that we that we got a grasp on certain groups of families that's linked to each other. You get what I
Right.
mean? So I just think that it's like us like having these conversations that we having now. You know, someone that's saying it's Jad Match for ancestry research. Jad Match is more like it's more like what groups of people is on each one of your chromosomes. So if you got Muskogee DNA, it will show what part of that chromosome that is on. And then if you got DNA cousins, like
Mm.
your cousins that match them, that match you on them parts of that chromosome, like I do, like the people that's Saponi Indians or Haliwa Saponi in North Carolina, they contacted me because I matched them on a certain chromosome. My chromosome number 7. At the end of my chromosome number 7, at the beginning of my chromosome number 10.
Hmm.
This is how deep this science goes. So it's undisputable. You know, they can't dispute this. It's many of us been doing this for, like I said, I've been doing it for 20 years. It's other
Hmm.
ones that have been doing it for 50 years. You know, we've been putting in the work. You just just now that our group up and our people just now got to plug in, do your due diligence to get your, if you can get to your great grandparents, your second great grandparents, and then we could I could take it on from there.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's
Absolutely.
very powerful though. It's very powerful to even just to see where it takes you to, and you learn the personality just by reading through the information and doing a comparative analysis. And when you see the name changes, it has character, it has personality, and how you see the name changes on the census and at what age points, and also like how you showed me is looking at the neighbors and seeing the life of the people that they was around and what this area was known for in a certain period of time.
Mhm.
Right. Like in essence, like when you're doing genealogy researching and you're looking at these records, it's like you gotta, and you know your grandparents and you know your great grandparents, you gotta make these people come alive. You know what I'm saying? You gotta understand what they was doing. You know what I mean? You know, you gotta see it. You know, like I found, like
Right.
if it took, I found newspaper articles on my grandfather doing this research.
Right,
Never knew it was
right.
newspaper articles on my grandfather.
Mhm.
He never mentioned what he was into down south, but it was there. You know what I mean? They
Right.
got that's a what they call it, newspapers.com. That's an awesome site. Put your family
Yeah,
name, your location, and boom, there is newspaper articles.
Mhm.
That's how I was able to find the description of the property that we have in trust, and that's how I was able to take that description and connect it to the actual Creek Indians that owned it in the beginning. And that's how I'm able to take my ancestry DNA test and connect to the actual people that owned it. You get what I mean? So it's
Absolutely.
full circle. It's a work to do. You get what I mean? And you gotta be you gotta be made for it. Put it like that. And you gotta be ready for it and gotta be patient because it don't come overnight.
no, that's a fact. That's a fact. No, that's big. That's big, big facts.
So here's a question: what y'all think about the brother who was saying our true indigenous language is the same as Haitian Creole? I would say it can't be the same as Haitian Creole because it's a different geographical area, and the accents and all of that would be different. I don't know if it would be French or English, but
No,
I would
I mean,
imagine the words change depending on where you are.
I
I
disagree.
mean,
I disagree with that part. Go
yeah, I
ahead. I'm
would say
sorry.
the language is universal though because Creole is Louisiana as well. So that is just like understanding the unity of the landmass and how the language wasn't just one uniform. Like
Mm.
even there's different Muskogee language. Muskogee language is the main branch, but it's still other variations that the tribes did that as well. That's why you can find similar languages.
Like certain native tongues have certain sounds that English don't get. Like I say mush, like a must, like with a VS in it, and it's like no letter that you could put into it. You know what I mean? And then it's like when you put a letter C, it's actually a cha. You get what I mean?
Mm.
So and that's then it's a letter T is actually like a R. You get what I mean? So just by looking at the words, you'll read in English and be off base if you don't know the sounds. Just like with any language. You get what I mean?
Mhm.
But then when you go into the origins of language, like the prefixes of the words, you know, it's a deeper science. That's why I'm saying that we got to be willing to learn and be willing to take the deeper dive. Like Wales is saying, start in Spain. That's where the Moors and that's where the Europeans meet. That's where the big beef come from. You get what I mean?
Mhm.
That's the biggest beef on. You got to think about this. They say Michigan was a secret society place where the Masonics or them 33-degree people or the Masons, the Moors came to share knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So this is back in the Washita days because I live in Washita County because that's part of Washita. So you got to
Mhm.
think about these people from all across the world coming back here in ancient days to learn secrets and learn knowledge. So this is what was happening here. It wasn't this place wasn't a off hands place where we not dealing with you. They had allies and they was like a United Nations. They spoke different languages. They welcomed different people. They traded with different folks.
Then why the hell we can't find no damn records of them?
You got records of them, people looking in the wrong place. Show you that the Bureau of Land Management, show you the census records is right there. It's right
Land
there.
deeds.
Horace, what we got on the screen?
We got a mound. I shared this with Mafia earlier, and this is just a mound. If that gate wasn't there, I could have walked up it. Say maybe
Where is it?
in Ohio. And it's actually a few of them right there together, so you can't see how long it is, but it's fairly long. I would say maybe about 2 blocks long, and it connects to another one that's another 3 blocks long. But the reason why I'm sharing this because
what's special about it? Because it just looked like a field from a distance.
Well, no, in the back, you see in the back what looks like a wall.
Yeah, but I'm saying
that's a
nothing
mound.
stands out about it.
Well, I mean, let me get into it. So that's a mound actually, and that mound looks exactly like the Appalachian does, just a smaller version. You see what I'm saying? So this mound here is no taller than the truck that I'm in right now, whereas that the Appalachian, one Appalachian, 500, 600, 700 feet high, but they're identical. So now, if the ancestors could build a mound that looks like this on a small level, why they couldn't build one on a larger level? And I also want to try to say this, that I think that what the brother Wells be saying in regards to us going into that silence and into that darkness will sort of put us in the right direction, so to speak, or trump a lot of the things, because they got everything so confusing. And once we find these things out, okay, we can present this before these I don't even know what to call them in their court systems. Yeah, but I think that as an organic people to this entire planet, that our connection runs deeper than what we're just trying to find out on a certain level. Because we always had connections, man, around the whole globe, that they have created so much confusion. We're trying to get past this first step, and we got 30 steps to go. And I think that silence and that meditation and that talking to the ancestors, man, is vital in what we're trying to accomplish, man. Because man, the host of confused issues, man. I mean, damn, it gets frustrating, but I love the drive because we receiving essential reprogramming in the land of the ancient of days, which is where we are in the West. And we're going to have to be the ones to save the world because nobody else is trying to figure this stuff out but us. But I do really appreciate what Wells be saying about that silence and that darkness, because that's where the real answers to the questions that we're looking for lie, right there.
Yes, sir.
Well, if I could say, the purpose and the reason why I push the silence is because thought, right, is invisible, right? Your imagination is invisible, right? And I know all of us at one time or another know somebody that fell in love. And you might ask them, well, why are you with that person or whatever? And they say, well, because I love them, right? But they can't put their love on a table because it's invisible. It's just a feeling, right? So if you are going to proclaim that you're a spiritual person, meaning that you can see the unity of religions, you can see the purpose of religion, and you're past that. Not that you leave your particular religion, but you're past it because you can see a higher, you can see what religion is based on,
And
right?
what is that?
The, the silence of your connection to the creator that puts you on the planet. Okay? Because, you know, people act like they put themselves here. All right?
Who act
So
like that?
in order for you
Hold
to
up, hold up,
commune,
hold
in
up,
order for you to commune
hold up. Who acts
with
like they
that
put this?
particular energy, your only route is silence.
Okay, but who act like they put themselves here?
A lot of people. A
Uh,
lot of
they're,
people, because
they're joking.
they don't take the time to reflect, right, on who they are. That's why following your ancestry is a major step to uncovering who you are. And from that you can you go deeper and deeper and deeper, right?
Hey, Mafia, you been quiet. You want to give me a translation? What'd he say?
Oh man, it's just understanding the oneness, the oneness of the all in all, the everything and everything. When people say everything is everything, it's just understanding the balance of what you tapping into with the metaphysical in your mind and what you tapping into in the reality and the physical,
Well
and
said.
bringing that as one, because everything that we desire is already in us. We just have to activate it within ourselves.
So, Horace, what's actually going on inside these pyramids?
Well, this one in particular, man, I don't know, but there's a lot of rivers in the ones in the Appalachians, and some of the ones that's around the world here that they've turned into landfills. Man, I don't know, brother. You know, it's unfortunate that we don't have access to them, and most of those that are of great importance, waste management is in control of them, whether they've turned them into landfills or whether they're still putting gas in them, but they doing something to distort our connection to them and the sun. And I wanted to say to one of the people who had just left the comment, yeah, you know, Top Cats, we applaud that brother. You know what I'm saying? But we got our own Top
Absolutely.
Cats right here at Hannibal James.
Yeah, and in answer to the
We're not
question,
competing. We're not. Listen, we have our own flavor. Would you
Yeah.
agree, Planet?
absolutely,
We got our own
absolutely,
flavor. This is a family
absolutely.
discussion,
There you go.
and
There
everybody
you
brings
go.
their gifts to the table.
True
Yeah,
indeed.
that's the
You know,
nature.
the
That's the
There's no
unique,
power of
competition.
unity.
Top Cat
the
is my
unique,
man. But we got
the
Hannibal
unique,
too, though. There, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
the unique thing is that what people may not understand. None of us know each other. We came together for this point, right? And within our journey into inquiring into this point, we have become brothers. To me, that's magical.
True indeed.
That's worth praise just right there. I'm in
Absolutely.
Hawaii, okay?
Right, right.
I just met these brothers. Come on now.
That's
So,
right.
Donnie, in reference to what your question in terms of the pyramid, they don't know what the pyramids in Egypt are. To this day, they don't know what they are. Okay,
Man, that's
so
powerful.
it's a complex question, but what you can see from the photo that's on the screen
This is Cancun.
is
Next time you go to Cancun, look up a pyramid.
is the magnitude of it. You can see that it took brilliance to construct something like this before logical time. I mean, you know,
Right.
so you have to have wonder in your spirit of it. And then if you're fortunate enough to be around it and walk on it, you can feel the vibration. Once again, that feeling is invisible. And my point is the only way you can get to the invisible is if you shut down your thought process and embrace silence. That's my
True
whole
indeed.
point.
Agreed, agreed.
Now, is it good to fall asleep afterwards or not? Nah, I'm just joking.
Just
You
soak
might
it
do
up.
that in the
I
place.
agree with this. I agree with this. She said years and years of indoctrination. Listen up, y'all, and like and subscribe to the show. And thank you to all of the people who support. Years and years. Thank you, Big Ma Baby. Of indoctrination make us forget the manifest is that we are able to manifest the life that we choose.
There
Years
you
and years of
go.
indoctrination makes us forget the power we have, the transformational
Absolutely.
power. Some
I agree.
call it Jesus, some call it Buddha, some
I
go
agree.
Namni Yeho Renge Kyo, that life force, that higher energy, that higher vibration that actually afforded us to even come together. It was a
Absolutely.
vibration somewhere in the
That's it.
universe, and y'all answered the call.
Absolutely.
Salute, soldiers.
I say,
I've been looking for
I
y'all for
say.
6 years. I just want you to know. And Mafia, you wasn't even born then, so
right.
you had to wait. Wait on your daddy.
I'm late to the party, man, but I'm here
But
on
look
time.
at this pyramid. I've not seen this in Egypt. They're typically triangular, what I see in Egypt. The Sphinx, of course, is something special to look at. But this is expansive.
Yes.
But
That
I
ain't
think
no
Yeah.
that's
chump.
I think that's the difference that we missing is that what we looking from overseas and is like more an extension of what we have here. What we have here, we don't see and engage or have the interest that we do from overseas by the indoctrination that we coming from. So it distort the jewels that we looking for that's around us.
Exactly.
This here on the screen is the Lake of Egypt in Little Egypt in southern Illinois, and it's shaped exactly like Lake Nassau in Lower Egypt in Africa. And so both of them are reservoirs. I found that to be
Mm.
similarities is unremarkable.
Mm-hmm.
Remarkable. Yeah.
So Harsh, you have just been you've just been chiefed.
Yeah, welcome to the chief.
We ought to now
Absolutely.
call you Chief Harsh.
Well,
Absolutely.
I appreciate that, bro.
I think I wanted to answer that question. He said something about he thought that the Haitians had something to do with the native tongue. A lot of the Haitians before like in the early 1700s, they used to come to Louisiana and work. So you'll see that as a connection between Haiti and Louisiana.
Yes, there is. And they both are French speaking areas.
Yes.
Now, I got to tell you, I have been fascinated the most by the story of Atlantis. And I can't wait for us to get an expert on here. I want to learn more about Atlantis. I done heard about it a long time.
They haven't even pinpoint where it's at. You know, they thought it
It's
was in
here.
Florida. They thought
Off the East Coast.
yeah.
I think that it's the land itself is associated with it, or there's a possibility that it could be Atlanta, Georgia, in that area. But
So
I
you know
know
they
that
said folklore that it's supposed to be some type of technology here. Is that the
From
technology that they talking about with Thoth or whoever? That's a deep. That's some deep dive.
from the myth comes the reality.
Right.
Right.
Huh.
Right.
Craig R says Atlantis is America.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Right.
So that means in actuality, man, when I hear things like that and take them into consideration, man, I feel special because I was born here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm seeking out, to try to find my identity and my purpose from this part of the world as opposed to anywhere else, man. Right here on Turtle Island, man. So I feel fortunate, man, to be born, from the dirt and the soil of Atlantis or
I
Tamaray.
feel fortunate to be born right here where I am in
Yeah.
Baltimore. And I love New York and I love Atlanta. And I just spend
Yeah.
more time in those two cities than any other in America, other than DC.
Yeah, I love Atlanta and New York as well, man.
And let me tell you, I've heard more. We'll touch on it on another show about Seneca Village. Seneca is an Indian word, right, Hannibal?
Yes, sir. I think one Seneca Village right there, Old Manhattan or something like that. Where Manhattan
82nd to 89th Street, which is now Central Park. But they had a thriving community, bruh. Their own, and Seneca Village. So essentially melanated, indigenous. And then I remember as a kid going to Canada, I saw those Indians at the cigar shops.
Yeah,
and as I've seen them as an adult, it's just reminding me, ain't no way they was light skinned. Right. Ain't no way they was Asian. They were black.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I ain't knocking light skin. My mama was very fair. But I'm in the realm of America. White, black, Indian, quadroons, actroons. Boy, that Walter Plecker was I was explaining to a very noted attorney today about the one drop rule. Going back to Walter Ashby Plecker, that racist son of a gun down in Richmond, Virginia, in charge of the census. When he came out with that Racial Integrity Act in 1924, all this time we thought the one drop rule was something that we were like, yeah, I got one drop of black blood. Not even understanding, Planet, the okie doke.
The okie doke.
The okie doke. We've been, man, one drop rule. All this time, I assume, I ain't speaking for y'all. Damn, one drop of black blood, I'm black. Not understanding who would even put you in that position.
Right.
But a narcissistic Walter Ashby Plecker and all of his racist cousins.
Right.
Including the ones down in Pulaski, Tennessee, founded the Ku Klux Klan.
You know, it's a lot of Pulaski's townships all over America.
Absolutely. Pulaski Highway, Streets Pulaski.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
Pulaski in Baltimore, they call it Dodge City because they pop caps around there on Pulaski Street. They used to years ago. It's calmed down. Okay, so Planet, let's go ahead and get in some prayer for the people, man.
Okay.
We got to lift up our people. Before we get there, Horace, was there something else I saw you had? These your cousins?
So no, that's on the left side of the screen is my Uncle Horace. Morgan City, Louisiana. That's my grandmother in the middle. Noxapater, Mississippi. And that's my grandfather, Walter, on the right side. So those are my granddad and my uncle are Haitian by way of Louisiana. And as you can see, my grandmother is Red Choctaw by way of Noxapater, Mississippi.
Now, pardon me. You said, as we can see, she's Choctaw. What am I missing?
Well, no, I'm just saying that with the redness. You see the red, the Mississippi red clay dirt skin.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean by that. But yeah, that's my Uncle Horace on the left. So him, my great grandfather, and his son Horace Jr. is who I've named myself after.
Okay. Look like he could fight. Look, here's from Copper Chickasaw Dane. She said, look at me. I got beat up and ostracized by Caucasians because of the one drop rule. I remember seeing on the Phil Donahue show back when I was a kid, a family of white people disowned their mother because they found out she was black. How stupid can stupid get?
Right.
When you say they found out she was black, how did they not know? They
found out their mother had black blood, and the children disowned their mother. Yeah. If your mama black, you big dummy.
Right.
Golly, how dumb can you get? And I wouldn't disown my mama with that. My mother was purple with polka dots. That's my mama, and you better not talk about it because we're gonna fight.
Well, the government, or the smart guys who came over here are responsible for the idiocy of these so-called white people. The government is responsible for them and the narcissistic mentality that they have. You know, like I said on the previous show, if they would have just let us be the people who we are and they follow our lead, man, everybody would have been at peace. But we got this group of people that has this complex that guided them in the wrong direction. And so now they are narcissistic without an end, but they don't, all of them not like that. It's just certain ones that's like that who feed into that particular narrative. But yeah, man, that's just a result of the government did that to them. They brainwashed them into thinking that. Yeah.
Craig got up here that Seneca is a Roman word. Now I'm gonna raise a question. I'm gonna push back on you, Craig. Is it possible that the same word can evolve in two different parts of the world?
You ever been to Seneca, New York, upstate, where they got Lake Seneca? That's right on the other side
because
of the
you
river.
got the Seneca Nation here, but Seneca is also a Roman word.
It's like the Iroquois tribe, the Iroquois nation. I don't know if he's trying to make a simile between the Romans and the Iroquois or not.
No, he says Seneca.
Yeah, because Seneca is an Iroquois speaking people.
Let me back up. I don't know that. You know that very well. I couldn't tell you.
I think when you talk about New York, when you think about New York, New Jersey, think about Iroquois. You think about Maryland, Virginia, think about Algonquin. You think about North Carolina, think about Saponis and stuff. In Georgia, think about Cherokee and Creeks, and Mississippi, Alabama, think about Chickasaw, Choctaws, and
I got that, but you mentioned languages.
Yeah, the language group. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta. So when he's saying Seneca might be a Roman word, or it could be a connection between these groups of people that he might try to.
Or can they just have come the hell up with the same damn word?
I don't know. I think that when it comes to languages, it's phonetics and origins behind the reasons behind the sounds they make. You get what I mean?
Because I find it hard to believe that you got a Roman word, but yet you got an indigenous tribe named after with the same name, that they necessarily have to have a relationship.
That'd be the overlay, because the people don't normally call themselves them words. It'd be the outsiders calling them that.
I don't know if it's outsiders or not, but Rome is a long damn way from North America back then.
I know, I'm talking about like how we call a person Seneca. The people that Seneca didn't call themselves Seneca.
Yeah, I don't even think they had a name for themselves, period.
They had a name for themselves, but they didn't call themselves Seneca. That was just a way of the European or these people that came to colonize started displaying them. Even calling, like, even for me to say a creek, that's a designation by someone from the outside, or someone say Cherokee or Choctaw or Chickasaw. Them outside designations. You get what I mean?
All right, so here we go. Yeah. Thank you. Turn me up, Santana. The Seneca was called the Onondaga.
Yeah, one of the five tribes. So you talk about one of the five government.
No, we don't skip over. They stop that. We don't skip over Texas. No, we don't. You ain't been watching this show. Last show we talked all about Texas. Talked about Chief John Horse, how he went from Florida to Oklahoma to Texas. We talked about the 500 black towns in East Texas. This must be your first visit.
Okay, and how they got them gigantic pyramids right there in Houston and Dallas and San Antonio and El Paso, gigantic pyramids. That's I mean, you can't even miss them if you tried to.
Tahonga make a good point. Hey, Tahonga, would you agree with me that them Iroquois in Virginia came down there pushing other tribes from Maryland down that way?
Tahonga, why don't you join us one day? We got to get you on the show, Tahonga. Yeah. I want to see if you wear that real red, if you really going to wear that red war paint. And the Saponi said, yeah. Speak on. Shout out to the sisters. Brothers, we gotta acknowledge the sisters. And I will tell you, they are the essence of this show. They may not want to come on and appear, but their support, their words of
Absolutely.
encouragement and enlightenment. What's the name? Engine. Help me out. Am I by myself? Am I the only one to see this? Mafia, start with you,
He's a big
Mafia.
mama baby.
Well, I can already tell how Big Mama Baby operates. She from the South Side.
Mm-hmm. And she talking about old dirty
from the
bastard.
Inglewood, from the Inglewood or the Chatham neighborhood.
She's talking about old dirty bastard. Him and what's his name, Flavor Flav from the same tribe. What's that up there in New York? The Susquehanna, not Susquehanna, but I forgot the name of the tribe. I know it started with the letter S up there in New York. That him and Flavor Flav was a part of.
Yeah, I saw that. And old dirty bastard always said that, man.
Mm-hmm. And even Flavor Flav put his genealogy out there too.
Well, you know, just toy. Hold up. He says, now this is, where'd you see that he's indigenous?
Who? Flavor Flav?
Yeah.
It was an interview talking about his ancestry. He talked about it. He was let me pull it up. Give me one second.
Please do, because the first thing to come up is people saying that he's not. And that's the thing. You know, we just had this in class. I got class on Tuesday nights. We're talking about AI and the impact it has on us. We don't program it. So until we program it, you gotta look at it like this.
Well, I think aside from their input into AI, the AI reaches into the Akashic records because a lot of the information that they get from AI, they don't even want to hear it because it classifies us as the original people of the whole galaxy.
Yeah,
so I just can't see them putting that in there. I'm thinking that they would take that part out.
He says he's a Shinnecock Indian.
Yeah, Shinnecock.
He say ODB, Flavor Flav, and LL Cool J. Give me a bit, 1 second.
So touch on these sisters. Tell me, brothers, take a moment and acknowledge these sisters. Start with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, man, there's much gratitude. The divine feminine energy is much needed to balance out the presence that we bring in our unity. And we definitely appreciate the insight, the enlightenment, the comments, the support. And it's definitely needed. See, we got representing for the matriarchy. The return of the matriarchy is important to restoring the balance that we're trying to restore. Much gratitude.
That's right.
Who's coming up next?
How about you, Wells? You want to say something about the sisters? I mean, help me out.
Oh yeah, I did. I mean, none of us would be here without them.
Hey, I want you to pull something up, Donnie.
None of us would be on the planet without them.
I want everybody to see this. Okay, so now here we have a depiction of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if you notice, he has 1 foot in the water and 1 foot on the land. And he has a woman in his arms that says humanity. And the whole movement is to uplift fallen humanity. That's why it says the cares of the world. So now that woman in his arm is the matriarch. And he's returning her back to the land from out of the water as being lost at sea. Right. That's why he got 1 foot on the land. He's returning from the water from the Admiralty Maritime. Like how the brother Esquire said that the Admiralty Maritime is a specialty in common law. No, it's not a specialty. It's a scam to scam people out of their money and their energy for victimless crimes. But I just wanted everybody, to see this and what it is, man, and how powerful it is, because that's the matriarch in his arms right there. And once the matriarch is restored, then everything can go back to its harmonious and balanced state. So we appreciate you, sisters, more than y'all can imagine.
Right. And I would like to add on to that too. It's gonna take. It has taken the sisters that got us this far. You know what I mean? Then it's gonna take the sisters to get us to the next level. We're raising our families and keeping our families together. So I like to thank all of the sisters that's in the group that's supporting us and a part of this fight that we got going on right now.
Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely.
Oh man, that $1 million matriarch is gonna change the game.
Yes, it is. And she's Copper Chickasaw Dane. She making some good points about James Brown, his Indian heritage. It's no doubt about it. But a lot of us do got Native heritage, and it's that a lot of us is making these connections to it now. Someone said that about Georgia and their heritage with the Creeks and Choctaws and another tribe. Yeah, I agree with that. Like especially in Murray County, Georgia, you had the Cherokee chief Van he lived there and he had a whole bunch of slaves there. So you'll find a lot of quote unquote African Americans that come from Murray County got Cherokee connections, and that's who they talking about is Chief Van. Even if in Georgia, Chief Van, that Van family. And then Tennessee, the Moytoy family. That's the ancient family, the Moytoy family. That's where the double-head fire killer and all them come from. So it's a work.
Yeah, Harold Thornton said the matriarchs are waking up. Man, when the matriarchs wake up, it's a wrap. Because they hold the keys to the entire cosmos. Because they are the mitochondrial. That's why if you read what's behind me and Mafia's head, it says a mitochondrial shifting of the frequencies. But once the sisters wake up, it's a wrap, man.
No, that's a powerful thing. It just helps us get into align with ourselves more and deeper on a powerful level, tapping into that darkness. And we can tap into the darkness together and have the same thought. Like tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we just put a powerful thought all at the same time. That's the type of frequency we talking about when we unify.
Yeah, man. You had a drinking problem for a while or something?
Well, it wasn't really. It's just the Indians don't really get too along with the firewater, and
Are you an Indian?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I thought you were a black guy.
Hey.
You're Indian?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be
What kind
kidding
of
me.
Indian are you?
Like Tonto Indian?
Shinnecock Indian.
Really? You're a Shinnecock?
Yes.
His family was here when Columbus landed, huh?
Is that right?
Yes.
So you are not a black man, you're an Indian.
I'm an Indian.
I got so much flack because the Indians, they felt like they were being picked on or some shit. You know what I'm saying? But little did they know, Flavor Flav is a Native American too. I have Indian blood in me, and my family comes from the Shinnecock Reservation, eastern Long Island. And so does LL Cool J's family.
Go to platinum brick beats on my wall.
Powerful.
Absolutely. Once you
Yeah, man, I hate. I feel for the people that think that this is just some wave that we are jumping on right now just for the sake of being different, man. Oh no, man. This is here to stay until it's restored back to the way it was before we were invaded. Like Noble Drew Ali said, man, one day you'll smell the European before you see him going back to Europe in boxcars. Yeah. I hope I'm around to see that day. You ain't got to go to Europe. You ain't got to go to the Caucasus Mountains. You ain't got to go to the island of Patmos. But you do got to get the hell off Turtle Island.
Come on with the prayer, Planet. I think we did our job tonight.
Good. Okay.
Glad we shouted out them sisters, man, because that's we are one,
True indeed.
That's it.
Come on with it, Planet.
Okay, so we've discussed a great number of things tonight. And it's important for us to take a moment, right, and not take things for granted. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I like to go as deep as I can. So, one of the things that we take for granted is breathing, right? So, to breathe, we take in this energy and we release it, right? We don't know what the energy is, but we know it's happening, right? So, right now, I want you to take 3 deep breaths. And now I want you to just slip into darkness, slip into that silence, right? The breath leads you there as a gift. It's a gift. It's the gift of life. Don't take it for granted. And the only way you can truly, truly show your appreciation is for just a minute or two, shut up, right? And be in gratitude for your life. In that stillness is your reverence for life. Go deep, go deep, go deep.
Hey man, I get any deep, I'm going to sleep, Jack. You better stop playing, man. I shake.
Okay.
Come on with the libations there, Chief Horace.
I appreciate, man, the status correction. You know, I can only become a chief when the people award me to being a chief. Here we go with honors list. Got to start off with the Honorable Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the Great Queen Neither, the Most Honorable Empress Badiasi, the Honorable Empress Chief Redbird, Chief Warhorse, Dr. Francis C. Wilson, Dr. Ari Khanna, Sister Shahrazad Ali, Shada Sakur, Angela Davis, Mama T, Sister Vicky Dillard, Sister Myra, Dr. Joy DeGrew, a sister on YouTube by the name of LaChris, the beloved sister, Secrete Balance, Brenda Bennett, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm Malik El Shabazz, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad, Dr. Delbert Blair, the Honorable Taj Tariq Bey, and the Honorable Dr. G, the Honorable Dr. Claude Anderson, Professor Patrice Lumumba, Professor PLO Lumumba, the late great C. Freeman Ill, the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King, Che Guevara, the most honorable Dr. Malachi York, Amalia Shatila, Julius Malema, President Ibrahim Traore, the General, beloved brother Barbecue of Haiti, the beloved brother Bobby Hemmett, the Honorable Reverend Phil Valentine, Nellie Fuller, Fred Hampton, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the Honorable Anthony T. Browder, the Honorable Professor James Small, Steve Coakley, Billy Carson, 19 Keys, Dan Calloway, Karima Ahua, Rizza Islam, the legendary Top Cats, Rod Hayes and Young Elder, Booker T. Coleman, the late great beloved brother Dr. Sebi, the late great Dr. Leila Howe Africa, the Honorable Yakir Wakening, the Honorable King Randall, the most honorable Dr. Danny Glover for providing us with this platform for us to reach our people, the beloved and honorable brother Planet Wells, the beloved and honorable brother Hannibal James, the young, wise, and intelligent, Brother Mafia Shakur, and all of our viewers who are 100% on our team in this monumental indigenous movement here on Turtle Island with no questions asked. Ashe.
Horace Lee the Fourth.
Was
Thank you,
Leader
brother.
Full.
Peace,
Yeah,
my brother.
Yeah, I saw the comment ask what tribes I was from. I'm Chickahominy, Pamunkey tribe, Chop Tank tribe, and Saponi, a few tribes.
Full Moon.
Oh yeah, yeah. That full moon out, it's out there, man. And I rolled through last night and did me a little light ritual. It was a little chilly outside, but yeah, man.
Absolutely.
That's love.
Yeah, shout out to all my kin folks down there in Morgan City, Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana, and Mississippi. That includes Jackson and Noxapater, and South Carolina, Great Falls, South Carolina, and the North Carolinas as well.
Put your tribe in, put your city in, like and subscribe. This is from Regina Harris. We thank you, Regina. And where you at, Regina? Osayo. I started watching this podcast at random back in September and look forward to y'all's conversation and your research each time you post. I make sure to watch live and to learn. Ashe. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Regina.
Harris last name. Look it up, Regina.
I got Harris in my family. What you know about Holmans or Hoskins?
I heard of Hoskins. I think that Holman too. Is a singer named Eddie Holman, right?
Yamasi, Lumbi, Winya, PD, Catawba, Wakakama.
Yeah.
Literally,
hundreds of
tribes deeply melanated but forced into a world of two boxes.
Black and white.
Soso Linha. Puts a lot
I
of
haven't heard. I ain't heard of her. I'm gonna look that up. Sosa Linha.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Not and you know, no disrespect, but the brother Mike TV, I shaded that brother too, man. Mike, man, we bring some powerful information, man.
He does.
Well, he was invited back. We were supposed to be doing a trade-off. I go on his show, he come on mine, but on our show. But I'm not sure what he would really want me to talk about. Okay, here's a new one. Nabina Sakia. This Copper Engine. Copper Engine, we appreciate you. I am that I am. Ashe.
And Noah told ye Ada means peace. But before we go, since we go on here, I like to go off of my personal list. Y'all can't see it. But this is from the Ibanaki tribe. We got Izaban, which is the trickster. We got Gluskab, which is the kind protector of humanity. We got Malsumis, which is the cruel evil god. We got Pomola, which is a bird spirit, which causes cold weather. We got Talbaldak, which is the creator. Now, for my Blackfoots, we got Apatuski, which is the creator. We got Napi, which is the trickster. For my Haida tribe, we got Taax, which is the god of a violent death. We got Tia, which is the god of a peaceful death. For the whole chunk, we have Redhorn, who wears the face of a human on his ears. For my Hopi, we got a holy, we got Coco Pele, we got Coco Wayanguwuti, we got Mawinga, we got Tayoe. For my Inu, well, I ain't gonna try to pronounce these right now because I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. But for my Inuit tribes, we got the Alguluk, we got Nanook, we got Nerivik, we got Pinga, we got Sedna, we got Tornagasoak for the Iroquois, we got Adegagawaga, which is the summer god, we got Gaioel, we got Gindinwita, we got Gohone, we got Heragoduaye, which is the
creator. How many names you got, man?
It's almost over, brother. We got Onata, fertility, got Leo. So I'm gonna just stop right there and not do the other ones. But let me do these for my Senecas. Well, we got the sky goddess, Iagentinsi. We got the trickster, Hogones. We got Hawaniyo, which is a god of fertility. And then we got Kahavaha, which is the solar deity. And I'm going to stop right there.
Ooh.
That's
Well,
Peace.
gentlemen, it's 10:14.
all them blessings at one time, man. We highly favored.
Horace Lee the Fourth putting it down.
Appreciate it, brother.
I see Tahonga said he's a Harris. My mother's father is a Harris, and that's how I'm connected to them Saponis. So I might be connected to you too, Tahonga. More than likely we are.
Yeah, that's that Harris line. I come on that Harris line too.
Yeah, a lot of us do.
They love you, Planet.
I love
Great
them.
show, Wado. Shout out Night Crave and all of the people that support us. Good
Peace.
evening, world.
Wado.
Peace. Peace. Peace, brother.
Peace.